Hey everybody. So, on my cigarette break, I'm contemplating the idea that I think that probably one of the most important parts of doing a tarot reading, possibly the most important part, although I don't know that I would argue that, it's worth thinking about, is the framing of the question that you're asking the tarot or the querent is asking you to ask the tarot. There's a lot of reasons for this. The first thing that comes to my mind is one of my favorite magical books is a book on geomantic divination by Israel Regardie. One of the things he points out in it is how phrasing the question poorly can lead you in the wrong direction. And his example is, he's written this book on geomantic divination. What if he does a geomantic divination with the question, will this book do good? And I'm paraphrasing and I'm going from memory and I'm probably making up stuff, but the gist of it is that you can imagine that the book, I could read the book and I could learn how to do a geomantic divination, and I could do a geomantic divination from somebody, and as a result of that, that person could go out and do good for a lot of people. And the divination could legitimately say, yes, the book did good. But if what he really wanted to know was, will the book make money, then the answer has absolutely nothing to do with what he had in his head. I suspect that a lot of people think that that's sort of weird, because if the tarot is supposed to be giving all this information, know the future, all this kind of stuff, that certainly it should know your intent. And I think maybe when you're doing a general reading, it knows more about your intent than you do, and I think that, or your own subconscious does, or the spirits behind the tarot do. But I think, and that's when you're doing a reading for yourself, but I think when you're doing a reading for somebody else, or when you have somebody else doing a reading for you, the information is passing through the mind of the reader. And no matter how intuitive the reader may be, my personal opinion would be that they're going to be framing it based on their understanding of the question and the word. I've seen intuitive readers on Facebook who don't pay attention to the question at all based on what they're saying. They're just going off on what their intuition is telling them, and it has nothing to do with the question. And that being the case, maybe it's true that a reader out there can get at what you want regardless of how you say it. Me, if you ask me a question and I ask the cards a question, my own intuition on the meanings is going to be filtered through my idea of what the words you said actually mean, at least to me. It's one of the reasons why I think words are important, and we should try and be more accurate about them rather than general about them. The other thing is, it's not entirely clear, based on what your theory of how the tarot works and what the tarot is, who or what is answering the question. Is it my intuition in combination with the cards? Is it stirring things out of my subconscious? Well, my subconscious also makes use of language, right, and believes that the words mean certain things. And it's been taught that the words mean certain things. It's also been put forward that the entities answering the questions through the cards are spirits, either talking through the cards or who are part of the cards. I mean, all of the various cards do in fact represent certain forces that may be communicating. So what is their relationship to the words? But as important as phrasing the question might be to the procedure, given all of that, I think it's also a matter of taking some time to get the question right. is helping the querent or the reader or both to frame their understanding of themselves, of the situation, of reality the way we think it is, in such a way that the reading itself will either confirm or deny those ideas and present alternative ways of looking at things, which is more valuable if you have it clear in your own mind what those things are. And so I sometimes dislike the questions that I see the most online, at least. I see a lot of questions like, how does he feel about me? Does he love me? Is there a future in this relationship? A lot of those questions I think are really bad. I've explained in another video why the question, how does she feel about me, can be a bad question. Is there a future of the relationship? Well, even if it's not going to be a good relationship, there's the possibility there's going to be a future for it. I think it's important to be more specific about the question that you want to ask if you're looking for specific answers and ideas. Some of my favorite tarot readings are ones where you get not just the most probable outcome of things, but also a series of alternatives with possible keys within your own mind to follow those alternatives rather than the most probable. Although in a lot of those cases, I can't recall seeing a single sort of possible path that's completely free of negatives. So in a lot of those paths, it's a matter of trading off negatives that are more acceptable or easier to live with, rather than just attaining the goal in one particular card or another particular card, depending on the one you like the best. It gives you a lot of options, and with a lot of options, you need to do a lot of thinking, and it helps if you've already done enough thinking that you know what you're actually thinking about. So I think the most important thing that a tarot reader can do for a querent and for himself or herself, if she's reading for herself, is to help in the framing of the question, restate it so you show that you understand the question, look at alternate questions that give better or more accurate information. So I think you could make an argument that the coming up with the question is the most important part of the reading. And I thought I had something else that I was thinking about that, but it's not coming to my head at the moment, so I guess that's it for now. It's almost time for me to get back to work anyway, so I hope that was interesting. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.